So after this film I'll show you some more successful areas where we've been goose shooting and also where I've been wildfowling for duck on rivers inland. Nice little flash. This one of the first jobs to do is of course to feed the duck in the flash, so we'll put a good few buckets of wheat out, see what comes in this evening. It's going to be a full moon. This is just gauging what we're going to get over the next couple of nights really. Earlier on I talked about having the right clothing for the weather, and you can see here wildfowling how we go from one extreme to another, from the early autumn in wildfowling to right into the bleak midwinter on the marsh flats. Come on now. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Up. Here now. Here now. Here now. Good dog. Drop. Good girl. These Canada goose decoys are very effective and very simply made. All I use are some old pieces of thin plywood, some black creosote and a bit of white emulsion, and they're just cross-halved and put together so that they look like full-bodied geese from any angle. Here we are then in autumn where the geese are coming in on the stubble, and of course Canada geese in this country have now become almost epidemic in proportion, so they are almost vermin. But we still shoot them under the normal guidelines of wildfowl. I'm using my same game gun, the Light Miroku 6000. It's chambered for 2 3/4 Magnum, so that's what I'm using. Normally, vermin control only has to be undertaken when it's really necessary, so when there's an overpopulation of something or at certain times of year. In spring, when the foxes are very, very hungry and they have lots of cubs, or in winter time, they will attack your chickens or attack the birds. We have to keep them down, we have to watch them. The same with crows. In some situations they're very good, they take away the slugs and so on. At other times, when the beans are coming up, or young shoots of barley or whatever, they'll root everything out. Moorhens too seem very inoffensive, but they too can do quite a lot of destruction, especially around ducks that are laying. Yet again, it's very important to have a good dog and make sure that any wounded animal is dispatched extremely quickly.
Good dog, come on.
Zoom right in her face. Hit! Because the sun was just right on. Good girl, good girl, good girl. Just what is vermin? Well, the point is that the human race has made a mess of the world, and it still is. If the world were rid of all the human beings, nature would balance itself out. There wouldn't be too much of any one crop, there wouldn't be too much feed, and therefore there wouldn't be a glut of any other animal breeding more to feed on that. So for instance, these huge flocks of pigeons, they just wouldn't exist as much, they would balance out naturally. But as we do manage the world, then we have to manage nature as well. We have to balance it out. Understanding nature, understanding real nature and what it's about in the world, and not the Walt Disney attitude about nature, but how it really is, animal eating animal, is very important. It's the fishermen and the shooting people and the country people who really understand it, and we are as much to do with conservation as any of the other wonderful organisations such as the RSPB and so on, who also do a fantastic work in their own way. Magpies will be going into the hedges and clearing out songbirds' nests. People think they're a pretty bird, but actually they're quite nasty, and they'll get in and clear out young chicks and eggs and all sorts more around. And rabbit control is a thing we have to do fairly often. The farmers don't like those rabbits getting into their crops at the edge and digging everything up and eating everything down, but it's also for the rabbit's best interest. That might seem strange, but when you have too many rabbits, you have a great increase in the fleas, and with the fleas comes myxomatosis, a horrible disease that will eat the rabbits slowly away. Not a nice thing at all, but if you keep the population to a reasonable amount, the rabbits have more to eat, they're healthier, they're better living standards, and that disease isn't there. Now let's look at the difference between a rifle and a shotgun. The shotgun has a barrel of no less than 24 inches in length, with a smooth bore inside, a smooth interior. If it's less than 24 inches, it's illegal. And that's what these thugs do when they go to the banks. They chop off the barrel at the fore end, and they chop off the stock here at the wrist, so that they can poke it down inside their jacket or whatever. And then there's no choke at all at the end of the barrel, so the shot is very broad, and it's quite a lethal weapon. It spreads the shot everywhere. A rifle, though, has a rifle barrel inside to spin the bullet, one single projectile, whereas a shotgun throws out a lot of shot. So here I have a .22 with a scope and a sound moderator. That's the proper name, not silencer, a sound moderator at the end. Now this rifle takes a magazine here of 5 shots, and the scope at the end just flips up so that it keeps it clean and I can look straight through it. It's a zoom scope as well, so I can set it at various distances that I'm normally shooting at, and on an average I'm shooting at 40 to 80 yards with this. Now, to go with this, I also have a lamp which quite simply slots onto the top here, and then that's attached to a battery. The same battery is also very useful for any pigeon motors that I might use in the future, if it's a whirler or something like that. Personally, I don't need them, I just use a flapper at the moment. All I have to do is switch it on here, and there we have instantly the light. Switch it off. That goes over my shoulder. Very simple and easy attachment. Comes off there. We can adjust the height of the lamp as well for the distance we're shooting at too. So there's a rifle. Scope, barrel, usually single, with a sound moderator. Now there are combination guns, not used in this country much, but they tend to use them in Europe, where they have a barrel for a rifle and a barrel for a shotgun, usually when they're shooting boar and feathered game at the same time, fur and feather. But in this country they're not used. So there's a rifle, and that's the difference. Now let's look at the actual projectiles, the cartridges and the bullet. Well, here's an ordinary 2.5-inch shotgun shell. There's a 2 3/4 Magnum BB next to it, and here's the .22 bullet. You'll notice it has a brass case here, and then the hollow point lead head goes there, and it's just the one projectile. And here you see how the rifling will pick up the lead of the bullet here, and as that projectile comes out of the cartridge case it will spin and therefore keep a more level trajectory. Now while I'm on rifles, let's just discuss this rifle. We've got the scope here. If you're going to zero in or range a scope, I have it set to a fairly long distance on my scope because it's a zoom scope. But you've got the top one for adjusting up or down and the side one for adjusting left or right, that is the reticule in the scope. And start off close to your target and then gradually work your way back, adjusting this as you go. Don't start a long way away and then go closer, it's the other way around. Start close and then work your way back, gradually adjusting the scope until you get to the sort of distances you're thinking of shooting at. You want to probably zero back to about 80 yards.
Whilst we're on rifles, let's just pop out and zero in this 2.2, shall we? It's been set at about 30 metres, so we'll do a couple of shots close in, and then we'll move the target right back and see how much it needs raising. In fact, in this case it hardly needed raising at all. We took it back to 55-60 yards. I've made up a target with a rabbit shape on it and a series of X's just to zero in onto those at first, and then we'll start shooting at the actual rabbit. Here's the target set at 30 yards, and then after we've done the first bit of shooting we set it out at the 55 yards. Then make sure the protective flap on the scope is set up so you've got a nice clear shot. Unscrew and remove the protective cap from the top adjuster, put in the 5-shot magazine ready, load a bullet ready. In the shotgun shooting we've talked about the stance being very different and the weight being more equally placed on our feet for rifle than for shotgun. I usually like to shoot from a knee position, a kneeling position like this, so I can rest my elbows, but in this case for testing today we're going to actually use a post. So we're starting off shooting at the already zeroed range of 30 yards, and then we'll move the target further out, starting first of all in the crosses and then at the further distance actually moving on to the rabbit itself, as you see here. My shots are the holes placed just above the rabbit's heart, so I know I'm shooting slightly high, but I know I'll normally be shooting at a slightly further range as well. The ones below are Patrick having a bit of fun. Okay, now a quick bit of film of us actually doing that.
I've just made a conversion to the 2.2 rifle. and I fitted my little Olympus camera onto the end, which wasn't easy, but I've used one bolt through the stock, which I wasn't too keen about. It was difficult finding the right camera mount for the rifle stock. In the end I chose a bicycle handlebar mounting kit which has a ball rotation that can be adjusted, and put a bolt through one of the holes, but don't bother with the straps. I already raised the stock because it didn't fit my cheek with the scope being so high, but now I should be able to hold it just back from my face. You can see I put the bolt through the wrist of the stock here, and I think that's going to work. And the beauty of it is it's a little bit adjustable as well. Due to the popularity of the other few taxidermy films I've done for the amateur, for the beginner, I thought I would show you these two pheasants that I'm about to do for myself. I don't do very much these days because really most of my interest is spent within the arts, painting and pottery and crafts. So just nicking away the skin from the meat there. Try not to tear the skin if you can help it at all. Take some 6-pound fishing line. That's all I need for this job, heavier for the bigger the animal. And chop that. I like to use a double piece. I shall need to tidy them up a bit later obviously, but they make quite a nice pose like that. So I've got the lighter coloured bird just bit perky and looking up at the other one. And I think that'll do for the moment. We'll do more on them when they've had a bit of time to settle. Well, we're going to have a go at this rather pleasant woodland scene that I've done a composite of now from the Dales, and 3 pheasants that I took when photographing up there. Rather seasonal pictures that we're going to do at the moment. And I'm going to use my acrylics to start off with, and also rollers, and then work into brushes as well. And these little rollers, which come quite cheaply, you can get in different sizes, be very handy for doing some of the background effects in acrylics. These lovely soft pastel shades we're going to have. I think I need to go a bit warmer still, so I'm going to take a bit of cadmium red and orange and bring that into it, especially here in the foreground, which will also link, I think, with the pheasant. I'm hoping it will. There we are, look. And it'll bring the pheasant out and forward because the colours will relate to it. I don't think we're that far off completing this painting, because otherwise we could go on forever. Just playing with colours backwards and forwards now to just try and get this right. Not easy. And I reckon that puts us about there. Success again, a nice big zander. You've seen how we caught the silure just now, and shortly afterwards then, next evening, we've had this nice large zander of 8 pound. It's possible to do all of the roughing out with a chainsaw. I mean, why use a penknife to do all of this fine work when we can rough it out so quickly with a machine like this? Or a flat end again there. Quite useful tools for shaping it. Let's just look at it now before we give it a coat of varnish. So we can see we've cut downwards, we've cut across. Arrow on, top feather to the top, grip the arrow, slide back, fingertips only, under my armpit, up under my chin, onto the target, and release, straight to the gold. Here we are, both rods out, got muscle on one and bread on the other. Right, we're into one. Not a huge fish, but nice. And it's now 12 o'clock, so I had to go and get some more mussels. There we come. There we go. No, we haven't had him before.
Okay, another small mirror, but quite a nice little fish. Again, on bread this time. But we've got a small carp there, but there we are.
Whoa, that's massive.
Yes, that's what we want. Good. Deal with it in a minute. That's a nice fish. Oh, that's a big fish, Patrick. That's our best today.
If it wants to take it, that's a nice fish.
Oh yes, it's a good 18-20 pound. That's a beautiful fish. Put it in a minute, don't worry. Big teeth on that. That's a specimen fish, Patrick. We are a good 20 pounder Patrick's caught. He wanted to catch this big fish and we've got him. So we're going to put this monster back in a minute, so that next time he comes, if he ever comes again, you catch another one. You never catch a bigger fight than that in your life, Patrick. Well done, eh? Was it exciting?
I want to catch him on 10 times as that.
Right, we're going to put him back now then. Let his tail go. That's it. There we go. Gently, and away he goes in a moment. He'll go in a minute.
Saved at the movement.
Yeah, he'll go. Here he goes, look. I'll help him away.
Yeah.
I reckon it's easy 20.
I think you're probably right. Probably 20.
Yeah. Nice fish. Our biggest ever pike. We're going to weigh him in a minute, but it's got to be over 20, I reckon, on a small roach. Makes the 2 trips really worthwhile, and at last I've got the biggie here. Fantastic. There we go. 22 pound, my biggest ever pike. Smashing, eh? Light line on. Certainly giving a good account of itself. Here we go into the net now. No, not quite. Yes! Oh, what a beautiful fish that is, look at that. Good 2 pound, 2.5, maybe nearly 3 pound that fish. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Well, there we are. Lovely brown trout, the wild brownie from this river. On the fly it's caught on, there's a little gold head nymph here, look. Take a close up of that. His head, and you'll see. Here we are, a lovely nice 2.5, maybe just about 3 pound. Lovely fish. Nicest brown trout I've had for a long, long time. Really surprising. Good dog. Go for it. Good girl. Fish it there. Hop. Good girl. Get back. Good dog. Fish it there. Fish it there. Dog. Good girl. Good dog. Come on. Good dog. Good girl. Yes. Oh, good fish. Good dog. Good dog. Good dog. What a good dog. What a good dog. What a good dog. Good dog. Come on, fish it here. What a good dog. What a good dog. Come on then. There's a good girl. There's a good girl. Yeah. What a good dog. Come on then. Good girl. Stay. Good dog. You can fetch it. Up. Good dog. You fetch it. Good girl. Up, up. There's a big girl. Yes, come here, sit. Sit down, sit down. There's a good dog. There's a good girl. Yes, there's a good dog. You can fetch it. Up. There's a big girl. Yes, there's a good dog. Go on then. Up. Here you come. Up now. Up, up, up. Up. Good dog. Good girl. Yes, good dog. Good girl. Sit down. There, sit down, sit down. Holly fetch. Fetch it there. Get back. Get back. Fetch it there. Good dog. Good girl. Holly sit. Holly drop. Good bits. Good dog. Good dog. Holly drop. Good dog. Holly come. Good dog. Holly fetch. Good doggy. Good girl.